World War II veterans, families, distinguished guests, how often does someone get to spend 4 or 5 hours in the company of 450 of his greatest heroes? Doesn't happen to me every day, but it did today. Mr. Fitzgerald, I really appreciate this opportunity. And on behalf of the Chief of the National Guard Bureau, General Frank Grass, and the 452,000 members of the Army and the Air National Guard, I want to thank you for your service to our nation on the land, on the sea, and in the air during a time of great peril for our nation. Because of your individual sacrifice and your collective victory in World War II, people in countries all around the world are able to live out their lives in freedom. And that freedom, that beacon of freedom, shines most brightly from American shores because of you. I often get the chance to go out and speak to young service members of all different branches and components, and when I do, I like to remind them a little bit about their traditions, the traditions of the military, our heritage, and where they came from. And I tell them they're joining an organization that started way back in the 1600s, before the founding of our country. And they're joining a long line of patriots and heroes that winds its way up through the American Revolution, up through the War of 1812, on up through the Civil War, the Spanish-American War, the Philippines War, and World War I. But when I get to World War II, I always pause a little bit to elaborate, because World War II was the war of our time. It was the war that defined America's position in the world. It was the war that established the United States of America as the leader of the free world. And it was the war that most affected the political geography that we have today. And while we in the National Guard are very proud of the 18 divisions, 80 separate regiments, and 29 flying wings that participated in World War II, we stand in awe of the accomplishments of your generation, the greatest generation, and your crowning achievement, the victory in World War II over our adversaries worldwide. What you accomplished in 4 short years is simply amazing to me. While the nation mobilized all of its vast resources and industrial power to overwhelm the enemy, without you, you valued, hallowed veterans, it would have all have been for naught. Your willingness and the willingness of those who fell about you to serve selflessly and ultimately to prevail is unequaled in the annals of American military history. There have been many books written, there have been a lot of movies made about World War II, but none can capture all the personal sacrifices that you and your families made in defense of freedom. Your victory ensured that freedom and democracy would be the way of the future, not bondage and totalitarianism. Because of your victory over the forces of evil, an entire world was able to move forward, as Winston Churchill said, to the broad sunlit uplands of freedom, and did not sink, as he said, into the abyss of a new dark age. We can never fully repay what you have done for us. All we can do is say thank you. And on behalf of every Army and Air National Guardsman and their families, I do most sincerely thank you.